Edward versus Droof, Game 3. This time we're on Xel'Naga Caverns. We're still in the group stages of PolarfluKe, Heaven's Devils. This tournament is brought to you by Fluke, Alcardo, and Blooms, the guys from over at polarfluke.co.za, and lovingly sponsored by Electronic Sports Zone South Africa and mygaming.co.za. They put up some nice prizes for these guys, and great stuff by them for supporting South African Starcraft 2. So we got Edward spawning at the bottom left of Xel'Naga Caverns. This is a map that's sort of similar to Steppes of War in some ways, just a lot bigger, and Droof spawning top right. We've got quite a few observers in here, so obviously they're pretty interested in seeing what the outcome of these games is going to be. But as I was saying before, we've got Jacob in this game watching Edward play, and when I upload this video to YouTube, I'm gonna add Jacob, Edward, and Twilight to the tags, and I'm probably gonna get 1 billion views on this video in no time at all, because that's the kind of thing people want to see. They really want to see Edward and Jacob and Twilight. So that mixed with some StarCraft 2, sure to be a hit. So no cheese in this game, sadly, but I gotta say congratulations to Edward here for scouting out. He's scouting pretty meticulously every little corner here. He should have maybe scouted behind this little wall of trees here just to make sure, but that would have been really early for Droof to have a probe or pylon or anything there whatsoever. So Droof just scouting out Edward's base right now. You can see both players do know the map, they know where to check. Edward being very careful, scouting both Xel'Naga towers, scouting all the little nooks and crannies, and Edward once again pretty wary of this. He knows that pylon's going down, he saw it going down. Not this time, Droof. Edward pulling 5 probes off his mineral line. He's going to get them on that pylon and he's going to take it down. Impressive stuff. I must say, Edward learning from his mistakes. It's good to see that. I mean, it's good to see players just moving into the next game, not worrying too much about the loss, and sort of trying to improve on what they did in the previous game. So I'm very impressed, 100% impressed by Edward there, and I'll be even more impressed if Droof can follow that second game up with another win. So let's see what these guys have in store for us. Pretty normal builds from both of them at the moment. We see a gateway and a forge going down for Droof right now, so maybe it's not so normal. Maybe he's gonna turtle in, maybe he's gonna tower push. It's good to see interesting play like this. On the other hand, we see pretty much the same stuff coming down from Edward. He's prepping himself for a 4-gate. He's got a lot of energy saved up on his Nexus at the moment. It's good he's using that on his first Zealot now. He's going to get that out in just a second. But it's as I said, it's good to see players trying different stuff. So big up to Droof for doing that. Over here in Edward's base, he's doing, like I said, exactly the same thing. He's prepping himself for that 4-gate, and the nice thing about doing it like this is that you can switch anytime you want. With Protoss, you can do that tech switch. If you've got the gas, which he is busy getting right now, you can do that little tech switch and maybe get a robo facility, maybe go Stargate. You can do pretty much anything. You can even do a mothership rush like we saw Chase doing the other day. So some pretty normal stuff from Edward, but I'm not quite sure what Droof is doing just yet. He's getting a photon cannon at his ramp now. I gotta say, I don't support players playing too sort of defensively. If you've got something in mind that you want to do, maybe he's gonna get a Stargate down soon, maybe he's gonna sort of turtle up a little bit so he can get some mass carriers or mothership or mass void rays. I don't know, I can't say just yet, but if he's got something in mind, then it's good. But if he's building towers just for the sake of building towers, then I don't really support it at all. Jacob has left the game. I think Edward's performance is going to skyrocket now. The intimidating as ever Jacob has left, so nothing for him to worry about now. Bella Swan will obviously choose Edward for sticking around. So the vampires have won this one, as Bouncy just said here. Sad times for Team Jacob. So let's just keep our head in the game here, guys. Jeez, I really I should stop thinking about old Edward's abs. Let's just so there goes the robo facility, 3-gate robo for Edward. interesting stuff. I'm glad he's actually mixing it up a little bit. We haven't actually seen a single robo facility in the games between these two guys. So at the back of Droof's base here, we see a Stargate going down. So that's actually sort of what I expected. I would have actually liked to see Droof throw down another Stargate and sort of pump some stuff out. You know, just get a lot of that out, mass that stuff. Whatever he's choosing to get, you know, either Void Rays, Phoenixes, and there we go, another Stargate. Good stuff. Good choice by Droof. I think if he can mass some Phoenixes and do sort of what I think it was Huck and Kiwi Kaki had in their games, mass Phoenixes, just sort of whittled down their opponents. Really clever stuff. So, Fluke saying here, Immortals versus Void Rays, that'll be pretty interesting to see because, yeah, as we all know, those Immortals are definitely going to lose out. So, I'm actually pretty impressed by Droof for taking, you know, control of this game, mentally at least. He's sort of mixing it up a bit. But at the same time, I got to say, it's good that Edward is thinking ahead and he's got that observer coming out. So he's going to have a look around Droof's base if he doesn't fly that observer straight into those little photon cannons there. So let's see if Droof is thinking on his feet here, then he'll put a photon cannon down around the back of his mineral line as well, so he can keep those observers away, all the way away from those Stargates. But we have those first two Void Rays coming out. Let's see where they're waypointed, all the way to the bottom of the map. The first one has already arrived at that waypoint. Let's see if Edward will be ready for them. He's got a couple of Stalkers out, but you know, if those Void Rays get charged up and get that beam all the way full, they're going to do some amazing damage. Here comes another Phoenix now, or the first Phoenix for Droof at least. And with that Phoenix out and that Graviton beam, plus those Void Rays, wow, you know, he's going to do some really good damage. And here we go, a Void Ray is about to fly straight through that observer. Oh my god, so there you go, Edward sees it, the jig is up. He's going to be able to get some photon cannons, and here we go, Edward immediately reacting, moving those Stalkers down there in place, ready to counter this little push. But, you know, should Droof get a couple more Phoenixes out, he will definitely be in the green. You know, he can pick up pretty much all those Stalkers one at a time, do some nice damage with those Void Rays. Yeah. I want to say my money is on Droof in this game, but Edward is thinking incredibly quickly. He seems to be really good at adapting, thinking on his feet, and that's impressive. So here we go, Edward doing something that I think he should have maybe even done a bit earlier. He's capitalizing from the fact that Droof is sitting in his base, turtling up, and he's throwing down an expansion at his, I think that's probably his second natural, at one of these spawns on the left-hand side of this map. Here comes Droof moving in now, but he's going to get caught by all these Stalkers. Oh, he might even lose a lot, but he sees them, so he turns back. He would have lost out quite a bit there if he had attacked. But I gotta say, it's definitely keeping Edward on his feet. Mr. zdrAg here has to think a bit about what he's gonna do. He can't just move out and attack him just yet, because Droof has a nicely defended base, and Edward won't get too far with that. So Edward cancelling that expansion of his because he saw those Void Rays moving towards it. Clever move by him, but he's going to lose those two assimilators. Luckily, that's only 150 gold he's going to lose. I think here comes a little clash now. These Stalkers taking out these Void Rays in no time at all. Oh no, not looking good for Droof, and Droof not using that Graviton beam. A little bit slow with that. Come on, if Droof was a little bit quicker, just a tiny bit quicker, he would have had that. Oh my goodness, the reflexes were not where they should have been there. You know, I gotta say, Droof had that game. He had that fight there. Sorry, he could have won that had he picked up those Stalkers a little bit sooner and stopped them from attacking. So some good play by Edward, but some bad play from Droof. So I can't say I'm impressed one bit there. It seems like Edward deciding to expand at his natural as well. No micro whatsoever from Droof there, and that might have just cost him this game. What I gotta say is that I think Edward needs to get that Twilight Council down now, and he needs to research Blink for his Stalkers, because you know, blinking Stalkers can pretty much rip apart those Void Rays. There's going to be no running away, and he might want to even get something like a Forge down and start upgrading that weapon damage, because people sort of underestimate the value of that if you're going to mass one unit type. So it seems like Droof is moving out again. He's got a couple of Zealots and 3 Phoenixes and another 3 Void Rays. So let's see if he can do some nice damage with that. Okay, we're gonna have a look at the income again, and once again, I see one of the observers just mentioning that now. Once again, Droof making that mistake. Droof, if you watch this on YouTube afterwards, or if you want some advice, you got to saturate that mineral line. 2 or 3 probes per stack is ideal. Yeah, you gotta get that income up, because you're sitting on 500 right now, and Edward is just slowly but surely pulling ahead in the income department. So Edward's expansion does go up. He's not going to do that little mana transfer that we like seeing from these guys. So it's not going to be fully operational just yet. He's going to have to start building some probes there soon. Droof needs to think about spending those minerals of his, maybe get a few more Zealots out, maybe get a gateway or 2 down as well. But it looks like he's on the move again. I like the fact that he's really aggressive in this game. It bodes well for his chances. And I also like the fact that he's sort of mixing it up. An interesting strat by him. But here he's going to run into a bunch of Stalkers now. He's going to have to pull back immediately. zdrAg also sort of thinking on his toes right now. It's really good to see. But yeah, both players in sort of a stalemate right now. Neither of them can attack, and I think what Edward is doing is the right thing. He needs to expand. Droof probably needs to expand pretty soon, because his minerals are going to sort of expire in just a couple of minutes in his base. And here we go, some graviton beams on the wrong units, and then just no micro whatsoever. Those units are just standing there. Okay, so that fight pretty much, Edward just dominated Droof there. Nothing much Droof could have done. He lifted off the wrong units. If you ask me, he should have gone for those Stalkers instead. But what he really should have done is, I think that he really should have just sort of tried to harass him, if you want to call it that, and just take out one unit at a time, move away, take out a unit, move away, and that would have been more beneficial for him. So we see Droof throwing up a Nexus in pretty much the mirror spot that Edward tried earlier, but Edward is pretty consistent with his scouting, and he's about to scout that out. So I'm just checking my messages here, because someone asked me to save them a spot, but it was stealth actually. So I'll save you any spots you want in any games you want, as long as you tell me beforehand. So there we go. These guys are still playing. I think that this game could have been over a lot sooner. I think Edward needs to think about being a bit more aggressive. He's playing like a Zerg should play. He's trying to expand the map full at the moment, which is slightly unnecessary. He doesn't need to do that. I think with the amount of Stalkers that he's got here, and it really is a lot, it's about 24 Stalkers there, he could probably just push into Droof's space. If he can just get that observer close by so he can see up that ramp, he can probably just push into Droof's space and so just end him right there. But, as I said before, pretty discouraging that he didn't get that Forge out and get those upgrades for his units. And he didn't get that Blink upgrade. It would have helped him a lot in this game, especially seeing that he's got pretty much exclusively Stalkers. Some really bad pathing or micro, whatever you want to call it here from Droof. He just let those Zealots wander into that army of Stalkers and get taken out. No contesting whatsoever there. These Void Rays scurrying across the map. I think Droof wanted to do a sort of a quickie on the back of Edward's base here, but it's not going to win the game for him. Maybe if he takes those Void Rays, focuses them on Edward's main, and then just moves all the way around here and focuses them on Edward's natural as well, he might be able to sort of do enough damage to keep Edward at bay, but it doesn't seem like he's going to have the chance to do that. Edward is ready with those Stalkers and doing some really nice damage here. This is where Blink would have helped. He would have had his Stalkers there in time, but here we see the GG from Droof. Well played by Edward, really consistent play, and at the same time from Droof, a few mistakes that Warcraft players make, I think very commonly. He didn't saturate his mineral line, he didn't expand, he tried to play the whole game from one base. That's not Starcraft thinking, that's Warcraft thinking for you. But still, impressive play from both players, so that wraps up our best of 3. And yeah, let's see if we can get another interesting set of games up for us to see soon. This is PolarfluKe Heavens Devils, and we are still in the group stages, so let's see what our next game is going to be.